to live streams the meeting, and as soon as it's done and I see that live, we go live in just a minute. Done. Perfect. So
Sorry.
do you listen to it?
Yes, the
Yeah.
meeting is now streaming live on YouTube.
All right. So welcome everybody. Thank you for being here, and we're gonna give the presentations of our second summit of flourishings, AI, human coaching, psychoanalysis, and a variety of a specialty in the area of coaching and the combinations of psychotherapy doctors, primary care doctors, with psychoanalysts and other mental health professionals. So we have a team of experts today, experts and researchers who's going to talk about of those areas that are very much interesting to us. I know it's very much difficult to have a license as a medical doctor. It's very difficult to get licensed as a professionals in the area of mental field. But we know that the total meta coaching and consultant is to have a goal to make everybody and to have the possibility to have a training in the area of coaching and have the combinations of psychotherapy, psychoanalysis, the most important and relevant AI presentations that exist today. Well, so we would love everybody to show their faces. This is streaming online, and also this is going to be recorded. The questions going to be at the end of the presentations. We're going to most likely have an hour or so, an hour or two. Please be patient with us, and let's welcome everybody. Let's give the mic to Cara Mari Usum, my team, Evelyn Fonseca, and Rosaura Manuel will be presenting and following up with everyone. And also we're going to have the speakers and the biographies. So this is going to be a wonderful presentations that are going to be globally presented, and it's going to be for our memory and archive forever that you can share with your people. So without further ado, Mari Usum, you have the mic.
Thank you, Dr. Pina. Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to the second Total MetaCoach and Consultants Institute meeting and conference, where we're continuing our vision to inspire and develop individual talents. The Total MetaCoach and Consultants Institute has a transformative mission to inspire and develop individual talents with a supportive environment that drives meaningful change through research, training, teaching, and education to produce global transformation. This evening's topic is coaching specialties and well-being, the ways to happiness, meaning, and flourishing. Our agenda for the evening will include coaching specialties and well-being, and tonight's presenters, my fellow colleague, Ms. Rosara Van Riel, will be presenting the speakers, Dr. Karina Reiki, Dr. Medina, Mr. Ramon Blandino, and Evelyn Fonseca, who will be presenting the speakers, Dr. Pina, Ms. Rosa Saldana, and myself, Cara Haid Uzun. We'll have member introductions, and tonight's guest speakers include Dr. Jorge Pina, Dr. Karina Reiki, Mr. Ramon Blandino, myself, Ms. Rosara Van Riel, Ms. Rosa Saldana, Dr. Juan Carlos Medina, Ms. Evelyn Fonseca, and Mr. Andy Jimenez. The agenda will be the panel. There'll be a short Q&A, and Dr. Pina will also announce when the next meeting will be held and then the conclusions. Right now, though, I'd like to introduce Ms. Evelyn Fonseca, our 100 coordinator. Evelyn is a recent graduate of Niagara University, where she earned a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology with a minor in Sociology, and she graduated cum laude with a 3.55 GPA in May of 2024. Evelyn currently holds the position of coordinator and billing specialist for the Cora 100 initiative, developed by Hispanic Mental Health Counseling, PLC. Throughout her academic journey, Evelyn had the privilege of collaborating with a clinical psychologist and professor on an honors thesis through the departmental honors program. Evelyn's research was presented at various prestigious conferences, including the Eastern Psychological Association's annual convention and the NU Undergraduate Research Conference. She also completed a 200-hour internship with the Niagara Alliance for Restorative Practices where she facilitated restorative circles and worked alongside a school psychologist to support underfunded schools. Evelyn is committed to advancing her education and plans to pursue a master's degree in mental health counseling. Evelyn is recognized for her compassion, her interpersonal skills, her diligence, and dedication to the field of psychology. Currently, she resides in the greater Chicago area. Please welcome Ms. Evelyn Fonseca.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Kara, so much for that introduction. So I am now going to present the creator and supervisor of TMCCI, Dr. Jorge Pina. He is a meta poet, coach, and digital nomad, and psychoanalyst in private practice in New York and Florida. He is an expert on men in committed relationships, and he is the creator of the International Meta Poetry Movement Incorporated 34 years ago. He has been the founder of the Dominican psychoanalytic movement since 1982. He has published 6 meta poetry books and 8 additional books for Meta Studio Press of the International Meta Poetry Movement Incorporated. He is a doctor of medicine and a clinical and educational psychologist from the Dominican Republic. He has a master's degree in psychoanalytic studies from the New School for Social Research in New York, and a doctorate of studies at the Boston Graduate School for Psychoanalysis in Massachusetts. He is currently the president of Hispanic Mental Health Counseling LLC, Cura 100, the Global Mental Health Supergroup, with a newly created clinical and educational platform of licensed mental health counselors, mental health professionals, psychotherapists, and psychoanalysts in New York, New Jersey, Florida, and Las Vegas, Nevada, with the structure to reach 33 states and 1,000 mental health clinicians as the Universal Mental Health Counselors Group, PLLC. Dr. Jorge Pina lives in Florida with the poet and psychotherapist, Dr. Karina Reiki, and their 2 children, Camilo and Camilla, both current college students of psychology, sociology, and philosophy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome again Dr. Jorge Pina.
Thank you very much. You're very gracious, and I'm very happy that you presented me. So we just have great and complete curriculum. I didn't know that I have studied so much, so I'm very happy all the study that I have done. So probably Doña Pancha will be very happy for everything that I've done in my area. But yes, I want to welcome everybody. So coaching and the specialties of coaching have evolved to just not being psychology and psychiatric that we know for a long time. So when we talk about coaching, the most important piece, and that I recommend to all my coaches, all my training, even my psychotherapists and psychoanalysts and social worker, that just acquire the positive psychology, because we'll give you a friend in terms of to understanding and be for many reasons a value-based kind of approach. You know, we the psychotherapists, we know, and with the mental health professionals, that we have to deal with pathology and disorders and diagnosis and treatment plan, while the new specialty that we are putting together, they are working on the well-being of humanity. They want to talk about things like happiness, where we talk about disorder of personality, we talk about manic disorders, we talk about antisocial, borderline disorders. So coaching, the new coaching is talking about meaning, it's talking about the concept of flourishing. It's like what is the life worth living, and how important when we fund making us big and great for humanity. So this is a concept of that I use, that I also present. And I tell that when you talk in terms of coaching and positive psychology, you have to talk in terms of your emotions, but no the angry kind of emotions, no the I'm sad or depressed. We're talking about the experience of how gratitude, love, and contentment will be part of what we call the PERMA model. The PERMA, which is I call PERM, which is positive emotions, no depressions, no anxiety. Yes, you can have that, and then we will have to send you to a psychiatric or to have a treatment plan and then a diagnosis. But we can talk in terms of what about your engagement? What about your relationship with challenging situations at work or at your job? Or what about, those connecting people that fold your life and that are very important as you move forward to flourish or to get the purpose of. What about the purpose of the meaning that you have? How can we get some kind of meaningful life and find the way to accomplish those? So we talk about PERMA, we talk about the positive emotions, we talk about engagement, we talk about relationships, and we talk about also purpose, and also the idea of setting specific goal, limited goal. Because if you come to us psychotherapy, I patients that I have for 10 years, for 20 years, nowadays we have, and Evelyn will present what is, the concept of human coaching, but also AI coaching. Value-based medicine also want to be effective. And most of the patients, they want to be solved right now. And they also have, I'm okay, I'm fine. I mean, like if I can learn, how to build my business in a better way, and you have the specialty of life coaching or executive coaching, so I can be a better leader. But I'm happy. I have a $250,000 salary. How can you help me out to talk in a different way with my wife or with my kids? So coaching is the now, is the present. And there is also a lot of new approaches in terms of which is AI coaching that allow, and also new technology in psychotherapy that will allow yourself to be treated by AI and with algorithms that are proven and approved by the FDA, the Federations of the United States for technologies and research. That is very important to know. So also when we talk about those specialty, nowadays you will never believe, especially with the psychoanalyst, you will never understand that now psychoanalysis also uses coaching. Psychoanalysis also, if you have a training as a psychoanalyst, which means you have a 3 4 5 years of certificates, you have your own psychoanalysis, 300 600 hours. Also you can use that understanding of the unconscious, of the roots of the malice and difficulties and conflicts of people, to allow them to go to a different kind of understanding who they are and understanding the conflicts and the past and traumas, so much that now Brian Johnson, he has a don't die kind of, he want to live for 145 years. Dr. Ramon Blandino, Dr. Reiki, we're studying him. And it's about, we don't know the thoughts that we have. We cannot control our thoughts. We have to go to that guy who has a different kind of personality and now split and bring in some kind of personality. The Brian in the morning is not the same Brian in the afternoon. He's split by the unconscious. So psychoanalysis now is also having that kind of understanding of coaching. And mental health, you can also have an understanding so that you can give the strategy needed to deal with anxiety, depressions, and also the stress of life that are already diagnosed by someone. What we do is the doctor, the psychiatrist, the neurologist, and the psychologist will diagnose these patients, and then you can help these patients to have specific strategy to deal with resilience and with some depressions that are not taken care by the neurologist and psychotherapists. We wanted also to give you the sense of running therapy or just coaching without the therapy. Like, for example, today Andy Jimenez is going to talk about his program, what he does with people who want to look good, live healthier, and live now for forever or permanently, because living for forever now is 120 years, it's 180 years. Is that possible? Yeah, well, you have to understand your body, you have to understand your mind, you have to combine the techniques of psychotherapy or positive psychology to help your patients. That's why we wanted to bring you guys the idea of sport coaching, how it's important to achieve your goal. I know that, for example, Andy has a patient, he wants to run the marathon. So now he know how to do that. He has done it himself, and he can develop the skill that you need to do for that. But sometimes you have some needs, and you have an action plan. You have to transform and unhack your life, and you know how to go about it. We know how difficult it is. I'm gonna lose 20 pounds. I'm gonna get this amount of money. I'm gonna get a girl. My life is not in the way that I would love to be, and then coaching will allow that to happen. So also, we have studied, and we are studying in our 5 a.m. Savers Club, the formation of habit in different areas, not only individually, but in society and culture, how movement have been established. Now we're working with Mr. Dr. Cray writes about the hidden secrets of habits of genius. We also work in terms of the atomic genius, those important habits, keystone habit that will make you, realize your goal in life, whatever this is that you want, that you're looking for, and develop specific strategy to understand and get what you want in life, in love, and relationships. So goal setting is going to be part of what we talk when we say executive coaching, which is something important. And we have also budget. And when we talk about budget, we putting together how can our patients, if they don't have insurance, have loan and a strategy with the state Medicare, the system that is nowadays something very important. And we are discussing how New York City, New York State, how different states are creating CPT code specifically for coaching. The only problem is you have to be a health coach, and you have to be a certified health coach. Some states make it difficult for a coach to use Medicaid, Medicare. They can use case management, especially in chronic cases. But now the legislation is changing. So how can we also, if the doctor cannot explain some particularly specific way to deal with medications or to deal with exercise and nutrition, how can we pay a very competitive fee for the coaching? That's had never happened. And we, the Total Meta Coaching program, are trying to bring those ideas to the coaches, and to also to everyone that wanted to be a positive coach, or a coach for life, or running coach, so that we can have refer patients from us, or also so that we can see the patients as a holistic, that we can see and develop his well-being, whatever is his goal and desire in life, and that he can go and accomplish with the help of a complete team of professionals and coaching. So this is the moment to combine psychoanalysis, psychotherapy, and primary care doctors, the mainstream medicine, with also coaching. We know for sure that the process of coaching is going to change. We have discussed, and we have received also messages from the Medicaid, Medicare, that there are CPT codes that are being developed, and that's going to be important as we move on. We don't know if the coaches will lose the democratic and universal use of coach and trainer, because the moment the state Medicare and the states get in and gonna pay you, they also get hold of the concept, like, oh, psychoanalysts now have license. I'm sorry, but you have to also be licensed, and you have to follow protocol, and these are the protocol, and you belong now to us, you belong to the state. We don't know if that's going to happen with coach, but it will be good if the coaches can receive payment as the doctors, as psychotherapists and psychoanalysts. And I believe that's part of the future. That's why we have established the total meta coaching and consultant, to have you understand and be how the specialty would influence. And also for those who are coach, so this is some kind of a way to inspire you and to bring you this training and this summit at least 1 or 2 or 3 every 2 or 3 months. So I'm gonna thank you everybody for being here, all the clinicians, all the speaker, those guys who already are there. So remember, we are recording for AI companions. You're gonna receive a summary of the summit, and also we also live in YouTube, and we're gonna give that to you as we finish. If you put your beautiful face, that would be great. So turn on your camera and let's do this. Thank you very much. Evelyn, or as Mr.
You muted, Rosaura.
Thank you so much for sharing your invaluable insight with us today, Dr. Pina. Your presentation was truly inspiring and thought-provoking. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure and honor to introduce our next guest speaker, Dr. Rieke. She's a multi-talented mental health counselor. Dr. Rieke is a poet, a painter, and essayist. Dr. Rieke has a master's degree in mental health from Manhattan College, and she works as a licensed psychotherapist and clinical director in New York City at Hispanic Mental Health Counseling, PLLC. Dr. Rieke is also an adjunct professor at John Jay College in the Department of Psychology, where she has taught since 2015, and the subject of psychopathology, psychology of personality, applied social psychology, and group dynamics, psychology of addiction, and substance abuse. Prior to this, Dr. Karina Rieke obtained her BA in Fine Arts in 2001. Dr. Rieke is also an athlete and running coach certified by RRCA and USAF Level 1 and 2. Now, without further ado, we're going to give Dr. Rieke the opportunity that we're going to learn from her today and give her presentation. Dr. Rieke?
Thank you, Rosaura. Thank you for that lovely presentation. Thank you. Today, what I'm bringing, I believe that the beauty of this is, bringing ourselves and how we really change people's life. And even if we can change one person's life, I'm totally fine with that. We don't have to change a whole community, but if we change few people, I'm totally fine. And I always believe that you say that you are, that comes from your mouth, that's what you have to become. And it's a struggle. It could be an everyday struggle, by the way. And I believe that we always have to remind ourselves that we have to be that. We have to be not only the theory of who we are, right? But we have to have the practice of who we are. We have to have this idea of who we are. In today's fast pace that we have, it's easy to get caught in the demands of daily life. And we all know that, right? Whether it is work, responsibility, information that we have to give or take, we have to keep always the well-being of ourselves in mind. I don't believe that comes out of the blue. I don't believe that is something that if we don't have it, it will come. I believe that we have to create it. I believe in happiness. By the way, I come from that psychology, but I believe that happiness is a creation of ourselves. And we have to do it first with understanding that it is possible, understanding that it's easy and it's very simple. And it also have to be a connection with nature and the essence of who we are as human beings. I believe that being mindful is a physical, mental, and emotional state that we have to embrace. It's a space that we create to have balance. And I believe that's the key of everything. If we don't have balance, everything goes out of place, right? And to help us manage stress, right? Also to improve relationship, we know that. also to have emotional choices in place. So having this well-being mindful, and by the way, my PhD that I'm hopefully be done in 2 months, if 2-3 months I'm going to be done with that, thank God, is in mindfulness. So how this idea of being mindful of who we are, who we want to be, this idea of ourselves in connection to like running and walking is going to make a difference in our life. And also how we, everything that we put in our body in regards to our, so I'm going to give you my 10 beautiful talking point that I hope you guys enjoy. Having a mindful approach of well-being encourage self-care, promotes resilience that we all need, right? If we have a conversation with a professor and he's nasty, we need to have that resilience, right? If we have, I don't know, a struggle with someone that is not in the same level that we love them, we have to have resilience, right? So it fosters a deeper sense of peace in our life. And I believe that's the key of everything. And also remove or it's a pacifier of like chaos in our everyday life. One of the things that I love about being in Florida is the fact that, I don't know, he is very peaceful. And I think that the fact that I can see the sky all the way is part of that happiness that I believe, by the way. And I believe that in being happy every day. And I embrace it very much. So I have 10 different points, and it's very simple, by the way, the things and the strategy that I'm going to bring today. We need to have a holistic approach to wellness. It's this idea that embraces the true well-being of like our physical, our mental, and our spiritual being. And I believe that in order for us to have that happiness that is more simple than people think, we have to have that connection. There's no way that we can have that balance if we don't have my physical, my physical, mental, and this spiritual way. And spiritual have different meaning and have different faces, right? I don't go to church, but I prayed a lot, right? I don't do like the common Padre Nuestro. I do it sometimes, but I do pray and I do believe in God and I do believe in the universe and the creation. So that you have to have a meaning in life, right? And God and the universe give you that meaning, right? You have to have those values. And by the way, I believe very much in that. But also, we have to be able to nurture our well-being with those three aspects, right? To balance our life and to feel fulfilled in life. So for me, mindfulness and meditation, I believe, is the number one. Practicing mindfulness, and mindfulness is having this consciousness of the stuff that we have to go through life, and also the struggles, the challenges, but in a very simple way, by the way. I believe that we can make it very simple. I think we're going to have a beautiful, beautiful day every day. So practicing meditation for me is essential. I remember living in New York, I learned how to meditate riding the train. I learned how to meditate when I'm driving my car. And that's walking meditation, that's awake meditation. So you have to find, don't tell me, and I believe that with all my heart, that you don't have time to meditate. Because when I'm doing my dishes, when I'm cooking the meal for my family, I'm meditating most of the time. Meditation is not silence. Silence is part of meditation, but it's not how we should be meditating. Meditating have different aspects, and you have to reinforce and take the one that works for you. I believe very much in the one that is quiet. I know how to quiet my mind. I used to meditate an hour a day, an hour a night. Now I'm doing a half an hour every morning and half an hour every night. And I got the same. When Dr. Pina woke out to do his morning stuff, I'm usually, because he already wake me up, I'm usually do my half an hour meditation. So practicing mindfulness through meditation and also deep breathing, because when you deep breathing, you do that a lot of stuff open up. You cannot do it. By the way, and the best way, I'm gonna stand up so you guys can see it. The best way to do it is when you try to bring the air from your stomach all the way to your chest and all the way to your glandula pineal. How you say glandula pineal? I don't remember how to say it in English, but the pineal gland that you have right here, right? So when you open up those channels, a lot of stuff open up in your life and in your brain and in your soul. So my meditation, they do breathing meditation because the key of that is that have that connection with the present moment. Meditation, that's what give you. Meditation give you that idea that you have to connect with the present moment, right? And the breathing is the one that do that connection with your soul and with your mind, and you have to connect that. So it takes a lot of advantages. And by the way, it's a tons of research. I'm not going to go into them, but reduces stress and connect more deeply with your inner self. So I believe that, you know, having that morning mindfulness and evening meditation, I do it half an hour before I go to sleep, is perfect, by the way. Sometimes I use guided meditation, right? If I feel very stressed or disconnect, I use guided meditation. And if you guys want, I can give you like the best one, guided meditation there. But if not, if you like me, that you've been meditating for so many years, you can do it. And by the way, Rosaura, I don't know if you went to my women's group many years ago. So we did a lot of meditation there, right?
Yes, you did.
In the women's group, and it was beautiful in the office. And it's the connection is amazing, by the way. I believe that you open the source. That's how I see it. So give you that balance. The number 3 that I have is physical activity. You guys know me, you know, I'm a swimmer. Today, we did a race, by the way, yesterday and today in a clear water. Sadly, for the first time in my life, I missed a race because I have to heal my foot that is hurting very much. I did one yesterday and today that it was a half marathon. I didn't do it, which, you know, Dr. Pina knows the first time, like in all my years, 30 years running, that I didn't do the running. And, you know, and I said, I cannot do it. And I was almost crying, but I said, I have to take care of myself. But I'm very active. And you have to not only do it for yourself, but you have to invite your friends to do it. Physical activity, regular exercise, not only strengthen your body, but also release endorphins. And that's what we need, give you that happy mood. People say, Karina, why are you always happy? I say, well, I'm always happy because I'm always exercising. And that's the truth. So take it very seriously, by the way. We now know that it's going to give you more years into, you know, this earth. It's going to improve your lifespan, improve your mood. We all know that. And reinforce, you know, that connection, mind, body, that we all need, right? Because also when you run or you walk, by the way, you run, walking is even more effective for your body than running, right? And we all know that. Some people like me, I have a lot of energy. I love running. But if you ask me, and by the way, the body only needs 20 minutes of, let's say, running or biking, right? You don't need more than 20 minutes according to research, right? So I've been doing an hour. Every time I go running, I do an hour. That is around maybe 5-6 miles. But the body only needs 20 minutes. You only need 1 hour of exercise per day. So if you divide the hour that you need for exercise, according to the best research, by the way, you can divide it by doing strength for 20 minutes. I'm telling you what the body needs, right? One thing is me, I have more energy, and I will want more, right? Now, moving forward from tomorrow forward, I'm going to do only 1 hour of exercise that is going to include 20 minutes of like running or biking or swimming. And then I'm going to do 20 minutes of strength. And then I'm going to do 20 minutes of stretching, right? That's beside my yoga. I think my yoga, I'm going to keep doing an hour, 30 minutes, at least 3 times per week. But in terms of my, because I'm like changing a lot of stuff in regards to all the research. Remember, I'm research based. Since I'm a college professor, that means that we have to be up to date with the latest technology and the latest research and the latest everything, because that's what we bring to our student, right? And we have to, be up to date with that. The other very important aspect of my life is nutrition. Many of you that I'm vegan, for many years. I've been vegan since I was, I think, 17 years old. And now I'm like, what, 50? So I've been without meat and animal products for the longest. My two kids are being the healthiest, thank God. I don't know. We have wood. I have to do this. Our children are very healthy, thank God, but they all were raised vegetarian. My kids learned to eat meat and seafood when they were like maybe 7 or 8 years old. Camila is still vegetarian. Camilo is meat eater because I knew from the beginning that he was going to be a meat eater, but he waited until he went to school, and now he's a lot of salchichon. He loved meat. And by the way, but I knew it because when I was pregnant, I was craving meat every day for 9 months. And Dr. Pina knows this, and the people that know me. And then I didn't try it, but when he came out, that craving went away. So I believe in nutrition. I believe that we have to eat healthy. My husband is totally a meat eater. So in this house, you're going to have a lot of meat because he's a meat eater. But the thing is to have that balance, right? Now we're changing our diet tremendously. In regards to me, I went back to vegan, and I'm only eating plant-based, by the way, no substitute. And I believe that will give you not only nurturing your body, but also have a very clear impact in your mental health, give you more energy and emotional stability. And we all know that, by the way. Most of our kids in our school are like eating craziness. Do you know in Asia, they have a nutritionist inside the school? Something that here, I don't know when it's going to happen. So there's a lot of countries now that we're traveling a lot to Europe for a few months. We're learning that a lot of stuff that people eat here, you're not going to find those things in Europe, by the way, not at all. Most of the cereals that people eat here, they ban over there. All right. So now the other thing that for me is really, really important is the self-care rituals. I have those for myself. I have that for my face. I have that for my body. Every time I take a shower, believe it or not, I put coconut oil in my body after I finish each bath. And then I just put cold water for 3 minutes. And I've been doing that for years, by the way. So I believe in those rituals. I believe that having discipline with all this that I'm bringing, having discipline, I think, is the gift of love that you give to yourself. And, and I believe that discipline is the gift of love that you give to yourself. And that's my mantra. That's people say, Karina, I don't understand why you're able to like wake up for 2 years at 5 a.m. to exercise with your friend. And I say that because that's the gift that I give to myself. Having discipline is a gift that I give to myself, right? Finishing a PhD that gave me so much, oh my God, it was awful. I cried a lot. It demands discipline. When I go out with my friend and when I exercise, I have discipline. And I very much believe in that, by the way. Every day and you have to have those rituals, right? And discipline is part of those rituals, right? Waking up at the same time, like Dr. Pina do every morning at 5 a.m. now. A guy that never woke up if he didn't have the need before 11 a.m., by the way. And he was not a morning person. Now he is a morning person, which is for me, it's like, you are what? And I can see it every day. So you have to make sure that make it yourself, right? I don't want to give you like, hey, become vegan so you can become healthy. It doesn't work like that. Being healthy is a very personal way of like being, right? Jorge's a meat eater, but he eat very healthy, right? I'm vegan, but I'm very healthy, thank God. So I think that's you have to make it about yourself, right? I can say, hey, if you do this, it's going to improve, like cold water. I do my 3 minutes now, cold water every day, no matter what. And I stay there after my shower, I put my coconut water, and then I let the cold water get into my body for 3 minutes, and that's a ritual. So you have to have that. Meditation is a ritual, walking or exercising is one. So I believe that we have to embrace those rituals in our life. One of the biggest ritual that I do have in my life is the ritual of gratitude practice. And I do it every time when I take a walk, well, I was gonna say when I walk my dog, but he's not physically with me, but I give gratitude. When I wake up, the first thing that I say, oh my God, thank you, God, because I'm so blessed that I have my 2 kids so healthy, so beautiful, so kind, and that's a blessing. So having that gratitude, the fact that I'm able to accomplish so many stuff in my life, that I'm able, I'm a high school dropout. So having that, Dr. Pina said to hurry up. I will only 2 minutes, 2 more points. So having that gratitude ritual for me is very, very important. Okay, I'm going to go to the next point. Setting intention. You cannot believe how many books I have. I wanted to bring it, but they're in my bag. We just came from the trip. And so having those setting intention for me is very important. Write it down. It's a connection when you write it down. It's not the same as saying it. You have to write it down. You have to have those intention because those goals align with your heart desire, and they create a purpose of deeper body and body mind connection. So I believe I already said about the breathing techniques that give you that connection. The other thing is sleep. Make sure all research, by the way, and for me this is new thing. We all knew about sleeping, but now for me, my priority, for example, is to see on my patient every day. My priority in life is to make sure that I have healthy food. One of my priority number 1 is to have a healthy sleep patterns every day, and that should not be negotiable. So I hope that you understand. And by the way, it's a lot of research allowing why sleeping is so important in our body. The other one is energy healing. Make sure that you connect with the sun. Make sure that you have that connection with the universe to really empower yourself. So this is just an introduction. In regards to this, I told Dr. Pina that for this talk I need at least the full hour, so we can have this interaction. By the way, when I do this talk, I bring a lot of resources, and I bring a lot of games to my to the people that I share this. So it's a lot of very interactive my talks, but I know now it's not this. But I have one that I'm going to leave with you, and I want all of you to write it down. And please, when the next time Dr. Pina invite me, bring this up. I want all of you to write a letter, and this is something, and I have a journal for this. Write a letter to a body part. Could be anybody, any part of your body that you're going to write a letter to. You will see that writing that letter, and it could be a page letter, by the way. I love journaling, right? So every morning when I wake up, or every time in between patient that I have, I write a letter to any part of my body. And it's amazing how much we appreciate something that we usually don't have that appreciation. Like, you know what? I'm going to do a letter to my feet, because they are the one who carry me every day, and I'm not going to take them for granted. So let me give a letter to my fingers. Let me give a letter to my ears or my hair that I love so much. So let's be mindful in a very creative way. So the next time, hopefully you can share the letter that you wrote to yourself, to a part of yourself, and a part of your body, so you can share with me. So thank you so much, guys, and I really appreciate your intense silence. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ricky. It was an honor to have the opportunity to learn from you today. Those 10 important points then that I will keep in my mind. Thank you also for being a shining example of what it takes to be a super mental health counselor. Thank you so much. Okay. Our next guest speaker is Mr. Ramon Blandino, whose work has had a profound impact on our understanding of many counseling skills and behavior techniques. Mr. Blandino is a licensed mental health counselor, a marriage and family therapist, and a dedicated and highly skilled senior manager with over 35 years in mental health organizations in the area of program development and supervisory experience. Ramon utilizes his background in financial, operational, clinical theory and practice, and nonprofit management to design, to prepare, review, and implement innovative programs. Ramon has extensive knowledge of the New York State Office of Mental Health, OMH, New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, U.S. Housing and Urban Development, Systems and Regulation. He was a peer reviewer for the federal government, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administrator, to review grant applications in homelessness, mental health, and substance abuse related areas. His positions have ranged from clinical supervisor, assistant vice president of mental health program, executive, deputy director, program director, grant reviewer, psychotherapist, and researcher.
You mute, Rosaura, unmute. Unmute, you muted already, still. You muted, Rosaura, Rosaura. Unmute, you have to unmute.
Okay, yeah. Executive Deputy Director, Program Director, Grant Reviewer, Psychotherapists, and Researchers. Ramon has extensive training and education in the mental health field, including a postgraduate certificate in mental health and aging from Adelphi University, advanced professional training in analytical psychology from the C.G. Jung Institute of New York, structural family therapy training from the Minuchin Center for the Family, a certification.
Unmute, you muted, Rosaura. Rosaura, you muted. Unmute. Unmute, Rosaura, you muted, you mute. Okay.
Structural family therapy training for the Minuchin Center for the Family, a certificate in healthcare management from NYU, and a certificate in addiction counseling from the New York School. He is bilingual in English and Spanish and a certified runner, coach level 1 and 2. Without further ado, Mr. Ramon Blandino.
Thank you, Rosaura. Thank you, everybody. Welcome. I'm happy to be with all of you. And I'm going to be talking about an experience that I started like 7 years ago in Dr. Piña's apartment when he basically found me to be excessively obese and also inactive. At that particular time, he motivated me and my wife to start running. And that sounds like, well, that you can do that for any friend. What happened is like in my case, I was a coach potato, meaning like I never did any sport in my whole life. And from being a coach potato, I became a running coach in the US track and field with level 1 and level 2 and the Road Runner Club of America, level 1 and level 2. And when I took those classes, one of the things that I noticed in the level 2, basically that they put a lot of emphasis in the psychology or the mental health aspect of the coaching. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about that because basically what I'm referring here is that we know that exercise are good. We know that sedentary life is not good, but we don't know that sometimes the detail. And I can tell you that when I started running at the very beginning, my body ache, all my muscle ache. And when you start running, you start going through a transition. Your heart becoming, more active, and you feel like your breathing is heavy. You're like, your pulse sometimes is like very quick, and your heart pumps harder because you need more oxygen in your blood. And the problem was that at that particular time, you know, when I started running, I didn't have taken the training until I realized that you need to adapt to your own capabilities and capacity. And mostly basically I discovered a method that was walk running, a model that where you need just to run, you know, like a 1 or 2 miles or 1 or 2 minutes, and then the same thing walking. And basically after that, also that I need to find my pace, and my pace was like a, you know, walking, talking pace, meaning like I was able to talk when I was running. And the minute that I fall out of breath, meaning I was not able to talk, I knew that I was out of my zone of comfort. But what is happening here? Well, you know that there is two important hormones, the adrenaline and the endorphins. The adrenaline is the response, that the hormone that trigger when we have a situation of fight or flight. Meaning when we get like in a situation, well, let me see, I'm going to fight this guy or this lion, or I'm going to fly and run. And that is the adrenaline. And adrenaline basically is a hormone that is not bad in itself, but a lot of adrenaline, and we are suffering at this particular stage of you know, politics and everything, that we are very stressed out. That the stress hormone is the adrenaline. On the opposite side, we have the endorphin. The endorphin is the one that is for the happiness, and is the one that help you your body slow down. When you start running and you get used to run, you are going to hear some people that are telling you, and you by yourself are going to feel something that is called runner heights. Running high is like a short period of euphoria after you do some sort of intense exercise, mostly when you're doing like a three mile, half marathon. Well, I cannot say the same thing with the marathon, the full marathon I did too, Berlin and New York. And I can tell you that because it took me like in some cases up to 8 hours on my feet at my age. And at the end of the day, I didn't have that high. I mean, I have it emotionally. I was even crying. But basically, you need to start thinking, oh, what is that is happening? And that endorphin is very similar to like the biochemical in the substance such as the cannabis. You know, the endocannabinoids are similar in that give you like that feeling of, you know, feeling nice and everything. Yes, it has the possibility to go through the cellular barrier at the brain and go faster to your brain. But the idea here is that you can calm down by have more endorphin, and you don't need to be using the any type of drug. That drug is in your brain already. You need to activate it, and the best way to do that is with that running. I mean with all type of running, in particular, running and swimming are the two more related to the release of endorphin. And basically, you need to understand that there is I use it in my therapy, meaning I have a number of people that are now walking. I mean, they are not running, but they are walking. There is a program nationwide called Walk with the Doctor. I was trying to implement that here in my clinic, but basically that was when the COVID hit. The idea is like you have like a doctor or a therapist with a group of patients just walking around, you know, the clinic or whatever. Better if you can do it like in the countryside, because then that there is where we can get the vitamin N. Don't look into the Google, because they don't know a vitamin N. N comes from nature. And yes, it's a vitamin that you get when you are in the green spaces, in the countryside, in the beaches, and that type of areas. And that is something that basically elevate your spirit and also reduce the depression and the stress and everything else. Then what happens when we have a lot of endorphin because we are doing exercise? The first thing is that we're going to have a lot of changes in our brain. Our hippocampus, which is a part of the brain associated with the memory and learning, is going to increase in the volume, and the brain will include, when you have that improvement, that you are going to have better memory, better focus, you are going to have an elevated mood, meaning like a good mood. We're not talking about elevated mood that like you are hyper or that type of thing. Then in terms of aging, and we have been talking about that on Wednesday in Live Longer, the idea is that it's part of those areas that we are talking that are needed for us to live longer. The being sleeping one of them, being the diet another one, being the pills and supplement and everything else, doing exercise and running one of them. Running is cathartic. Let's go all out. Let's go to the park. Let's go to walk, to run. Let's connect with nature again. And then that is going to basically we can do that. I'm going to lose a lot of patients because my patients are coming because they're anxious and depressed and that type of thing, and they start running well, but it's okay. I have no problem with that. I'd rather have people active and non-depressed because they are doing something good for the body, for the mind, and then that is going to give them or us a sense of achievement. As we start moving and we start, little by little, 1 mile or in minutes, you can say 30 minutes to 40 minutes. The appropriate thing would be like for you to walk at least initially 30 minutes, then you are going to be increasing little by little. Or if you are doing just really running, it's just to start like with 3 miles, and then every 10 days, if you have been doing a systematic approach, you can increase like 1 more mile. And then, but the idea here is that the other piece is you build friendship. When you start running, usually, for example, we used to have our club, and still Andy going to be talking about the club. We get to know many people, and even if you don't know anybody in the races, I used to be, talking with people around me. In one occasion, I asked a lady that was by my side, I said, because she looked like really, really old, but she was like faster than me. And she said, well, I'm 85, but I'm also recovering from cancer. And I said, but I made my purpose that, I'm not going to die in bed. I'm going to die running. And you start making friends. And that is a social piece is important also to live longer. It's a matter of escapism. I mean, if we start like, for example, I love to, the cross country, which is basically to run in the countryside, in the hills, in the mountains. And then that is it's more difficult, but it's better because you are reconnecting with the nature. In some, because I would like to give time for the other presenter, the fact that you can be one with nature, the fact that you can improve your circulatory system, that you can reduce your depression, your anxiety, the stress, that you are going to be running on endorphins, that is going to make you happy, then make you healthy. But basically, as I mentioned for you before, there is a lot for us to talk. This is an act of self-love. When you start running, you are doing this because you love yourself and you want to live longer and you want to be better, and you don't want to be in the doctor every week with some malady. But that is the case. Just start moving, start swimming, start walking, and if you can, start running. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ramon. We're going to just quickly circle back to the titles of the presentations since we didn't have a chance to do that before. So the first presentation, the Coaching Specialties and Wellbeing, Ways to Happiness, Meaning, and Flourishing, that was presented by Dr. Pina, and Dr. Reiki presented Unity of Self, Mindfulness for Mind, Body, and Soul, Creating Harmony in a Disharmonious World. And we just heard from Ramon Blandino, Running, Coaching, and Happiness. And coming up, my presentation is coming up, Kara Haid Uzun, it's on wellness coaching and ADHD. Rosara Van Riel's presentation, Emotional Eating and Coaching, followed by Rosa Saldana, Think Again. Then we have Dr. Juan Carlos Medina's Addiction and Coaching, Evelyn Fonseca's presentation, Goal Setting Theories and AI Coaching. And we wrap up the presentations with Andy Jimenez, Distance Running Coaching, the Run Fit Approach. Thank you. I'm going to hand the floor back over to Evelyn now.
Thank you, Kara. Thank you for presenting those. So now I'm going to present Kara to everyone. So Kara Haid Uzan is a graduate of Teachers College, Columbia University. Kara holds a master's degree in counseling psychology and education and a bachelor's degree in mass communication and advertising from Townsend State. Kara's additional graduate studies include master's coursework in public relations at NYU and master's coursework in information systems architecture at Johns Hopkins University and C programming. She currently works as a mental health counselor, LP, at Hispanic Mental Health Counseling. As a counselor, Kara works with couples, families, individuals, children, and groups using a person-centered cognitive behavior approach. Kara's other duties at Hispanic Mental Health Counseling include running the women's group, an initiative coordinator for Cura 100. Kara works under the supervision of President and CEO, Dr. Jorge Pina. Previously, she worked as a middle school counselor at the Center School and West End Secondary School in Manhattan, and she is recognized for her compassion, dedication, and open-mindedness. She has lived in Manhattan for the past 25 years and works remotely in New York and Turkey. And without further ado, here is Kara to present her presentation on wellness coaching and ADHD.
Thank you, Evelyn. I'm just going to share my presentation. All right, can everyone see this? Yes. Okay, perfect. So my presentation is on wellness coaching for ADHD, and the presentation is going to explore the role of wellness coaching in helping individuals with ADHD thrive. So let's start with a global perspective. If I can get my slide to change. Hold on, we've got some technical difficulties. There we go. All right, so the global perspective, the prevalence, ADHD, it affects millions worldwide, with estimates suggesting that 5% of children and 2.5% of adults have the condition. And boys are more likely to be diagnosed with ADHD than girls. There's a ratio of approximately 2 to 1 in children, and in adults, the gender gap narrows. Now, the impact is that ADHD can significantly impact academic, your professional, your social life. It can create challenges with attention, with focus and organization. And children with ADHD are 3 times more likely to drop out of school compared to their peers. That I didn't know. And adults with ADHD, this is a mind-blowing number. They're estimated to have an annual loss in productivity, remember this is global, of about 77 billion due to absenteeism, underemployment, and job challenges. So let's look at a case scenario. So some of the challenges. Imagine that a student who struggles to stay organized, complete assignments on time, and manage their time effectively. You know, it might have been years ago that this child was told just to sit down, to pay attention, try harder, you know, without that diagnosis. So the impact is that their ADHD symptoms can hinder their academic performance, impacting their self-esteem and motivation. And we see this a lot. I saw it as a counselor. I saw it at the middle school level. I've seen it at the high school level. There's all kinds of research done. You know, there's a reason why the research is done with a lot of college students, because they're particularly affected. They really feel the impact. All right, then let's go to the different components of treatment. So ADHD treatment's a multifaceted approach. So if we start with medication, medications like the stimulants can help improve focus and concentration, but are often used in conjunction with other treatments. And that's where therapy or the coaching comes in, those pieces. So the medication, these can treat the core symptoms of ADHD. They can treat the inattention, the hyperactivity, the impulsivity, but it's not going to teach the skills. It's not going to teach you skills, and it's not going to address the emotion regulation. So then we go to therapy. So therapy, let's say cognitive behavioral therapy, that's going to help you develop the mechanisms, improving self-awareness and managing symptoms effectively. And it's going to address that emotional behavior and the social challenges that are related to the ADHD symptoms. So you'll improve your emotion regulation problems, and you'll learn the problem-solving skills, and you can address the co-occurring conditions like anxiety and depression. And then the last piece of a multifaceted approach could include coaching, which is very beneficial. So wellness coaching provides a personalized support, right? And there's accountability. There's somebody that's checking on you, and you get strategies tailored for navigating your particular challenges that you have with ADHD. So you're going to see improvement day to day with your functioning, with your life skills. Now, but it's not a substitute for therapy or the medication, and it doesn't address the deeper emotional issues. All right, so the next one. So when might medication be necessary? So let's take a look. So if you've got severe symptoms, you want to consider the medication when ADHD symptoms significantly impact daily life. They're causing, significant distress or functional impairment. You can't get to work. You're not getting your schoolwork done. It's impairing your relationships. So that's when you can't complete your task. You're not able to follow instructions. And again, I said maintaining relationships. So treatment options. Medication can be effective for managing the core ADHD symptoms, but it should be part of a holistic treatment. And it's most often effective when it's combined with therapy or coaching or behavioral interventions. Okay, so now let's look at therapy. So what's happening within the therapy? You're building skills and strategies. One, there's self-awareness. So therapy is going to help the individuals understand their ADHD and the impact on their lives. It's going to promote self-acceptance and understanding. Two, you've got coping skills that you'll learn. You'll get, tools for managing your time, organizing your tasks, overcoming distractions. So you're improving your daily functioning. And finally, there's some problem solving. So you'll develop strategies for addressing the challenges, building resilience, and finding solutions to overcome those obstacles. And for adults with ADHD, therapy is going to help you in the workplace. It's going to help you with your challenges there, with your relationships, and managing your co-occurring conditions. Now, you do want to take in consideration that it's time intensive and it can take weeks or months to see noticeable changes. And so consistency for this is the key. And let's see, and now on to, here we are, while we're here, the power of wellness coaching. So with wellness coaching, we've got goal setting, we've got accountability, and some personalized strategies. So with goal setting, your coach is going to help set realistic and achievable goals tailored to you, right? Fostering a sense of purpose and motivation. And there'll be accountability. They're going to have you check in. Maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's your session, and they're going to track and provide accountability and support. So you're going to help, they're going to help you stay on track. And you'll also get personalized strategies. So the coach will develop a customized action plan for your individual needs and your preferences. And this is to promote not just in the here and now, but long-term success. So we've got a lot of benefits from ADHD coaching. There's practical solutions, right? You're managing your schedules, you're going to meet deadlines. There's an increased self-awareness. Individuals are going to recognize their strengths. You've improved your quality of life. Coaching is going to lead to better relationships and your work performance. And it's going to be flexible, it's personalized, tailored to, again, the individual's specific needs, right? So think student or parent or professional. And there's empowerment. You'll be encouraged. Individuals are encouraged to take ownership of their goals and their decisions. So finally, let's take a look at the key takeaways and next steps. But wellness coaching offers a valuable tool for individuals with ADHD, empowering them to live fulfilling and productive lives. Now, I found that there's a recent review of research on ADHD coaching, and it indicates that ADHD coaching contributes positively to improved functioning with ADHD across the age span. And that included symptoms, executive functioning, and self-esteem and quality of life. So by combining your medication, your therapy, and your coaching, individuals can develop strategies, they can gain insights, and they can build resilience to thrive in all aspects of their lives. So thank you. That concludes my brief presentation on coaching, wellness, and ADHD. Now I'm going to actually stay here because I am going to be bringing our next speaker, Ms. Rosara Van Riel, up. So Rosara chose to dedicate herself to a career in mental health counseling, stemming from her desire to help others in the most unique and innovative way possible. Rosara earned a master's degree in mental health counseling from Alfred University. She has an MA in bilingual special education, teaching from Adelphi University, that was in 2005, and an MA in school administration from the College of St. Rose in 2000. And she has a BA in elementary education from Medgar Evers College in 1992. In addition, she's obtained several mental health treatment modality certifications, including cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavior therapy, and psychotherapy, as well as certification in the treatment of depression, anxiety, and stress. Rosaura is bilingual and she speaks English and Spanish. And she believes in the holistic approach to treating every individual. Please welcome everyone, Ms. Rosaura Van Riel, to the floor.
Thank you, Kara. Thank you so much. Good evening, and thank you all for joining us today. I will be addressing a crucial aspects of our life that often goes unnoticed, and it's emotional eating. Have you ever found yourself eating when not hungry? Today, I'm going to share my story to inspire hope, recovery, and solutions, since emotional eating affects many people more than me. According to the CDC, 20 to 25% of the population in USA suffers from emotional eating. I still remember the day when I realized that my relationship with food was more emotional than physical. Growing up, every time we felt stressed or we felt, my mom would always give us either a candy or some cookie. As an adult, whenever I felt overwhelmed, I would find myself comforting myself with food, sweets, or various kind of foods, whether Chinese food or Spanish food, but I would always satisfy these overwhelming feelings with food. Now, okay, you get the slide. Thank you, Kara. So now we're up to slide 2, Kara. This picture represents the reality of many people. You're going to see in slide 2, a person sitting down, looking at television and eating all sort of food in front of them. Almost everyone has eaten emotionally at some point, whether due to boredom, over problems, or some type of celebration, whether Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays. But emotional eating is part of our everyday life, but it can become a problem when it negatively impacts our mental health or physical well-being. So what is it exactly? Emotional eating is when we eat food when we don't, our system is not really asking us for it. That is not actually a problem. It becomes a problem when we make it to be the only tool that we use to smooth our emotions. However, we must keep in mind that there are several risk factors that can make emotional eating a real problem for us. For example, the frequency and the severity. How often do we engage in eating an abundance of food? What quantity is it? Are we losing control? Like we feel like we like we can't stop eating. We have to continue eating it. And then we have weight gain. We gain it, we lose it, it fluctuates. Digestive issues, nutrient deficiencies, and then what happened? We go to the doctor, and the doctor says, oh, wow, your numbers are not good because you didn't have a good intake of foods. So we have to recognize the red flags. It's important to understand the triggers because we can take steps to change it. It helps us to identify our limitations and avoid as much as possible to expose us to situations that overwhelm us and have a negative impact on our emotional well-being. Some of the triggers, but it includes stress, anxiety, sadness, boredom, anger, And we even engage in a lot of eating when we are happy. We engage in a lot of eating. Okay. But that has ramification. It has consequences. And those consequences, as we said previously, are the high numbers when we get our lab results, leading to chronic conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol. Weight gain is one of those consequences. Mental health issues like mental health issues could be signs of mental health issues while we are eating, and those symptoms can be binge eating disorder, anxiety, depression. So when we start overeating, we have to pay attention to that, because in those could be symptoms of other types of conditions. So now we know what it is. We know what it looks like. So what can we do? We have to eat with intention and mastering mindful eating. We have to start eating slower and appreciate everything that we eat. We have to listen to our body. Are we full? Do we need some more? And most important of all, choose nourishing foods. What I call the self-care kitchen. We have to take the first steps. Begin with interventions. As we heard all through these presentations, the importance of exercise, meditations, and social connections. You need support from your friends, from your family, from other personnel that's going to tell you, listen, watch what you're doing. It is becoming to a point that is going to affect your health. But it's not going to be taken care of overnight, because we engage in this behavior for many years, so it's not going to take care in one day. So we have to be consistent. We have to have patience and seek support when it's needed. One of the type of supports that we could have is a coach. Who is a coach? A coach is a professional who helps individuals achieve their personal or professional goals by providing guidance, support, and accountability. They help to monitor, provide support, and help us to achieve our goal. So start your journey today. In my journey, I realized that change was possible and that I could learn to manage my emotions without relying on food. I began to recognize my emotional triggers and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Through mindfulness and self-compassion, I started to build a healthier relationship with food. Imagine a life where food is a source of nourishment, not stress. Discover how to cultivate self-awareness, develop a growth mindset, and break free from emotional eating. Start your journey today and unlock a healthier and happier you. And that be the next slide. I have some references if you want to get some more information, and the questions will be taken at the end. And thank you so much for being a wonderful audience.
Thank you, Rosara. That was a wonderful presentation. Very wonderful. And we're going to go on to the next presenter here. So I'm going to introduce our next speaker, who is Rosa Saldana. Rosa Saldana is a creative, passionate, and highly versatile professional with over 3 decades of experience across administration, coaching, and education. Ms. Saldana has spent 31 years dedicated to the New York City Department of Education, and for the past 18 years, she has served as the president and CEO of Promising Networks. As a business leader, Ms. Saldana has actively participated in the Latino Business Action Network at Stanford University's Graduate School of Business, where she has achieved first place in her cohort. Since 2008, her business has been a New York City certified minority-owned enterprise. In her educational and administrative career, Ms. Saldana has held roles at the city, regional, and school levels. Ms. Saldana holds permanent licenses as a school and district administrator in both New York City and New York State, as well as licenses for teaching in bilingual and monolingual settings for grades pre-K through 6. Her academic qualifications include a Master of Science in School Leadership and Supervision from Mercy College, an advanced ESL certification from Manhattanville College, a master's in bilingual education, and a Bachelor of Science in Education with a minor in computer science from City College of New York, all completed with honors. Currently, she is pursuing a master's in mental health coaching at Manhattan College with an expected graduation date of May 2025. So here, without further ado, here is Rosa Saldana presenting her presentation called Think Again.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. So let me see if I can just share host only. Can I share my window?
Okay, let me give you the power.
Go ahead.
All right, let me make you a host. All right. Done.
Make sure it's Rosa Saldana as host.
Yep, it's done.
It's saying Rosara.
Rosa, I change it. Is that Rosa Saldana is down? Rosara, you have to give the power to Rosa now.
Yeah, Rosaura has the, yeah.
Now, Rosario, you have the power now. So give her to Rosa. Okay, you click on Rosa Saldana, and then when you click on her names, you go down and you'll find that host or co-host, and you give it to the host.
So let me go to participants.
Mm-hmm.
You go to participants. Yep.
Click on Rosa Saldana.
Yep. And look for host, and give it back to her.
Okay. I see Evelyn.
Stay on
Wait a
Rosa
minute.
Saldana.
Listen. Okay, Rosa Saldana, and make a host. Okay, got it.
Got it?
Yes, got it.
Let me see.
Good. Thank you.
All right. I don't see it yet.
Let's see. Rosa Saldana is host. Yep.
Okay. Well, let me just begin because I don't see it. It's fine. So the presentation that I will be talking today, but I want to see my beautiful presentation. No. I cannot share my screen because I'm not the host still.
You try again because I see your host.
Okay, all participants share my screen. Okay, here it is. Just let me know if you are able to see it.
Yep.
Are you able to see it?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to talk today is related to thinking, because we all know that thinking is a very important part of our life. And what I wanted to do is to kind of put it in a nutshell. What do we need to do and what type of thinking we need to use for different aspects of our lives. But before we begin, we need to know what is thinking. And thinking is the process of using reason, logic, and imagination to process information, solve problems, make decisions, and form judgments. It involves both conscious and unconscious mental activities that shape our understanding of the world and guide our actions. But why is it important to learn how to think? Because it supports goals achievement, it makes us be clear to structure thinking, help us set realistic goals and create actionable plans to achieve them. It also enhances happiness and balance. Thoughtful reflection and decision-making foster emotional well-being and life balance. Like everybody have been saying, exercise is one of them that help us to think better and more clearly. Also improve relationships because it helps us to understand and employ different thinking styles that can deepen connections, improve communication, and resolve conflicts in romantic relationships, family dynamics, and interactions with children. So each one of these areas goes a little bit deeper, but because of timing, I'm just mention them very lightly. It also strengthens workplace and team dynamics because better thinking promotes collaboration and innovation. So now we're going to go to the 5 type of thinking. The first one is creative thinking, the ability to generate new ideas and innovate. When to use it. Creative thinking is valuable when brainstorming, solving unconventional problems, or seeking innovative solutions. Why? Because it fosters originality, adaptability, and the ability to see opportunities in challenges. An example of this creative thinking is when you do brainstorming for solutions or for a product design, when you have a challenge and you put a team together just to create ideas to benefit from the thinking of other people or also for yourself. The analytical thinking is breaking complex problems into smaller parts to find solutions. When to use it. Analytical thinking is ideal for troubleshooting, planning, and understanding detailed systems and processes. Why? It simplifies complexity, making it easier to identify patterns, relationships, and root causes. An example of that is identifying the root cause of declining sales by analyzing data trends. Critical thinking is the ability to analyze facts objectively, evaluate evidence, and form logical conclusions. When to use it, critical thinking is essential in situations that require judgment, evaluation, or decision-making, such as solving a complex problem, assessing arguments, or making informed choices. Why? Because it helps in avoiding errors, biases, and assumptions, leading to well-grounded conclusions. Again, part of this type of thinking is the long list of biases that everybody has. That I'm not going to talk about that because that's like a whole session into the biases. An example of this is evaluating the credibility of a news article by cross-referencing sources. The other type of thinking is the reflecting thinking. This thinking is when you examine past experience to gain insights and improve future decisions. When to use it? Well, it is important after completing a project, experiencing a setback, or making a significant decision. Why? Because it fosters learning, personal growth, and improved decision-making. An example of that, and I believe Karina mentioned some of it, is the journaling. You can journal about your life, about recent projects to identify lessons learned. The strategic thinking is the planning for the future by anticipating opportunities and obstacles. When to use it? Is critical in long-term planning, organizational leadership, and preparing for potential challenges. Why? Because it ensures a proactive approach, aligning actions with goals while preparing for contingencies. An example of that is when you prepare like a long-term plan, 4 years, 5 years in your business or in your life. Now, how can you improve this type of thinking? One of them is the practice of metacognition, which is thinking about your own thinking. This is to identify your strengths and weaknesses in processing information. An example of that is when you're reflecting on whether you are approaching a problem too emotionally. And a good tactic is to read widely and critically when you are like getting in information. Another way that you can improve your thinking is expose yourself to diverse viewpoints. Challenge your existing belief. Example of that is reading both sides of a political debate. Like in this time, we need to be able to read those type of thoughts of people, from Democrats and Republicans, and also they cultivate curiosity. Another way to cultivate or to improve your thinking is to ask open-ended questions, which is to explore topics outside your expertise. Example of that is taking a course in a unfamiliar subject like philosophy and engage in discussions. The last point that I wanted to put here is also how can you improve is to exchange ideas with others to refine your own thinking. Be open to constructive criticism. Example of that is to join a debate club or book discussion group. Oh, no, I have another one, which is the practice of the mindfulness, which is to stay present to focus your thoughts, avoid jumping to conclusions too quickly. An example of that is to pause, to breathe before responding in a heated discussion. So like always, I am a bookworm and I like to recommend books. All of these books I have read it and I have divided them according to the thinking, to the different type of thinking. If you are looking for a book related to critical thinking, is Think Fast and Think Slow by those authors there. The Art of Thinking Clearly. Also for creative thinking is Still Like an Artist, or The World of Art by Steven Pressfield, which is a very good book. For analytic thinking is Super Forecasting, The Art and Science of Prediction, or The Factfulness, which is also a very good book that helps you to think very clearly about facts. For books related for reflective thinking, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, or Dating Greatly, which is a book that we read in our women's club by Brené Brown. And for strategic thinking, Good Strategy, Bad Strategy, and The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which everybody knows about these books. To conclude, improving your thinking enhances your ability to navigate complex challenges and make better decisions. It is a key for achieving personal and professional goals, fostering happiness, maintaining balance, and building strong relationships. For all you do in life, you got to start very small and adapt one strategy at the time, practicing one type of thinking or reading one book for this guide. So remember, as Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can be achieved. So thank you very much. Let me just stop here. Stop sharing.
Thank you, Ms. Aldana, for sharing your expertise with us today. Your presentation was insightful and thought-provoking. We appreciate the time you took to prepare it and present it on this important topic. Thank you. Thank you. Now, I'll present our next guest speaker, Dr. Juan Medina. Dr. Juan Medina possesses many years of working experiences as a counselor. Therapies that include the following areas: depression, anxiety disorder, bipolar disorder, eating disorder, substance use and abuse, adjustment disorder. Dr. Medina has worked with children, teenagers, adolescents, adults, and older adults. He has experience working with the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorder, DSM-5. Dr. Medina's strength as a counselor includes working with adolescents in individual counseling, as well as family group, couples counseling. Now, without further ado, please welcome Dr. Juan Medina.
Thank you, Rosario, for the introduction. Thank everybody for taking the time being here today and on a Sunday, in which we know there'll be other great things that maybe you could be doing with your family and things like that. But I wanted to thank you. Thank you all for being in here. Um, as it relates to the topic that I'm invited to talk about, there's a couple of things for housekeeping that I wanted to put on the table. And I'll start with a quote that says, from earth to dust, from dust to earth. So that is the spiritual and biblical principle that state of who we are, where we come from. Okay. Contrary to those are, the Darwinism, or those who believe that we are the result of evolution and a big bang. One common denominator for us to keep in mind is that out of all the species, we are the only species on the planet that has all the elements that are composed of the planet and the universe. So that is science facts. You can look at it and see how all of these puzzles, or all these pieces to the puzzles, are going to be put together, in my presentation. So as it relates to the topic, to the root cause on addiction, one thing to bear in mind and also to keep in mind is that giving the both uh, those who believe in the creation and the scientific or evolution or human, the question as to who we are and where we come from is something that has challenged humanity for many years and will continue to challenge humanity for many years. So, as it relates to the cause and root or addition, then what we need to think about is that having in ourselves all those elements that are on the planet, how sensible we are to become addicted to anything that we can come in contact with, whether it's something that we could think about uh, related to. Can you guys see me?
Yes, I
Yeah,
could.
yeah, we can see you. Yeah, it's
All
good.
right. All right. So, as it relates to the stuff that we think about, but also the stuff that we do. So, to take it into context, uh, and I'll get a quote from Dr. Gabo Marte. Okay, so it's kind of hard for me to pronounce it because I'm from the South in the Dominican Republic, and we tend to put an emphasis on the R. Okay, but Gabo Marte state that uh, the result of addiction are childhood trauma that at some point we experience in our life, and as a result of that, we engage ourselves into finding ways to deal with those things that we don't know what happened to us, how it got to us, and perhaps in some instant to even try to deal with with the pain, with the psychological pain that we had to encounter into our life. Um, Not only him, but also uh, Dr. Ellis talk about the whole issue of addiction as being as an irrational thought, okay, geared towards uh, as particularly to those human genetic needs that we have, and perhaps as a result of finding ourselves in an environment, then we can be susceptible to engage into addictive behavior. So, as an example of that, so I'm going to use myself as an example. All right. Uh, I am addicted to shopping and I am addicted to clothes. I love clothes. Okay. One of the things that I had done as a strategy that I've been implemented for the past 15 years is that I've been avoiding going to the malls, or I've been avoiding going to the store, because I used to be the type of guy that will go, let's say, for example, to Brooks Brothers, and I will be walking around, coming out of the store with 7, 10 suits, 12 shirts, 15 ties, you name it. That's the type of guy that I was. So as part of this strategy, one of the things that I had done is that I had taken myself to write a note in terms of the stuff that I need to buy. And, with all the respect to the females on the audience, I avoid interacting with women when I go to the store because it makes it very difficult when they say to me, that shirt looks very nice, Juan Carlos. It looks very nice on you. Although that's not the type of shirt that I'm looking for, I end up taking the shirt with me. So, and getting into the topic, so addiction is a common denominator among all of us. Given the history of where we come from, who we are, and all the elements that we have in our body that we can make us very susceptible to become addictive. Okay, whether it's, we talk about, for example, the addiction of food. We talking about, Rosario was talking about how innocent and how unconscious is for all of us to engage in this type of behavior without even knowing, with the understanding. And as a Freud stated, so if you can get fit, if you become aware of the stuff that you're doing that are affecting your life, then you have 50% of the problem. So, one of the things that we need to do, and which is a word of reflection for this coming year, is to be sensible to each other. Okay, to become sensible with each other and to understand that neither one of us are, a are protective or are not bound by being addicted to anything, whether it's alcohol, drugs, whether it's even exercise. I have had experience being a coach at the college level that people can get addicted to exercise, sex, food, uh, even education. Sometimes I consider myself a school junkie because I feel like I don't get enough of reading or studying. So right now I'm on the process of getting a second PhD. I had two master, I had three advanced certification, and you name it. And I keep on always going after that. But the key is to become aware and to be conscious about everything that we do and to be sensible with ourselves because nothing in this world is absolute and nothing is perfect. And if we can do that, to be sensible with ourselves, then that can open the door for us to connect to everyone else that might be encountering or might be dealing with some type of addiction because it's something that it talks the door of all of us. So, and I close with an experience that it was very touchy in my family. I have an uncle that we lost him for 7 years, and it was due to drugs. For all we knew, he was dead. Nobody knew what he was in, and don't ask me how, but he ended up living in Alaska like for 5 years. The drug, I guess, put him on his head that I needed to go there. So 30 years later, we got him back. He's stable, he's home. So family support is something that is very important in dealing with this issue. And I also believe, because I'm a believer, that it was through God intervention that we got him back. And for most of all, or for all of us who have had an experience in dealing with people in addiction, we know that, you know, programs like the 12 step are critical to help people during this process. So I want to close on saying, once again, thank you for having the time. I share the research that I did on the topic is for you guys to have it. So let's try to be sensible to ourselves. Let's try to be mindful, and let's try and let's understand that we are an extension of each other. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Medina. I love the quotes at the beginning. They're always so flavorful. We are now moving on to our next speaker, Evelyn Fonseca. We did already have her bio, but we're going to just briefly review that. And her topic is goal setting theories and AI coaching. So just a reminder, Evelyn Fonseca, she's a recent graduate of Niagara University. She earned a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology with a minor in Sociology, and she graduated cum laude. Evelyn currently holds the position of Coordinator and Billing Specialist for the Cora 100 initiative developed by Hispanic Mental Health Counseling. Throughout her academic journey, Evelyn has had the privilege of collaborating with a clinical psychologist and professor on an honors thesis through the departmental honors program, and she's recognized for her compassion, her interpersonal skills, her diligence, and her dedication to the field of psychology. Currently, she resides in the greater Chicago area. Please welcome Evelyn Fonseca.
Thank you so much, Kara. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. Oh. Okay. All right. And I just want to make sure that everyone can see this well. All right.
Yep.
So I'm going to be presenting a literature review. So this article is titled Artificial Intelligence Coaching, Redefining People Development and Organizational Performance. At the first TMCCI Summit, I also presented a literature review. This is kind of very similar to that, and I believe it is by the same authors as well. So just to dive into this, the confluence of organizational coaching and AI, specifically generative AI, is set to permanently change how employees are developed and supported. This could result in significant benefits to individual and organizational learning, wellness, and performance. And the benefits of organizational coaching are well documented through rigorous research, while the efficacy of AI coaching shows early signs of promise. And so the challenge now is how to optimally leverage AI in organizational coaching for exponential gains. This literature review explores the current and potential future applications of AI coaching in organizations, its benefits, challenges, and ethical considerations. All right, so understanding organizational coaching. So just to give a quick definition here, organizational coaching is a combination of applied psychology and adult learning, where a one-on-one individual development process is facilitated by a human coach with the aim of helping people increase their self-awareness and self-efficacy for their own and organizational benefit. So this just kind of breaks it up into four categories here. Applied psychology combines psychological principles with adult learning theories. One-on-one process, it's facilitated by a human coach for individual development. Goal-oriented, this aims to increase self-awareness and self-efficacy. And dual benefit focuses on both individual and organizational growth. So some of the key applications of AI in coaching are coach emulation, coach support, coach education, and coaching data analysis. So starting with coach emulation, AI can function autonomously as a coach, providing basic coaching services through chatbots and other AI-driven platforms. And these AI coaches can operate 24/7, making coaching more accessible and cost-effective compared to traditional human coaches. And early studies indicate that AI coaches can be remarkably effective in certain contexts, which offers organizations a scalable solution to provide coaching to all employees, not just management. Moving on to coach support. AI can assist human coaches by analyzing coaching sessions and providing insights into coaching competencies and progress. So this support can enhance the skill development of coaches and managers alike, promoting a culture of continuous learning within these organizations. Coach education. So AI tools can be utilized in training programs to educate future coaches on effective coaching practices. By incorporating AI into coach training, educational institutions can better prepare coaches to leverage technology into their practice. And lastly, coaching data analysis. AI's ability to analyze large data sets allows organizations to detect patterns and trends in coaching interventions that would be difficult for humans to identify. And so this capability can lead to improved coaching strategies and outcomes as organizations can better understand the impact of coaching on employee performance and engagement. And moving on to the benefits of AI coaching. So there are several key benefits, but these three are the most important. So enhanced accessibility. AI coaching it democratizes access to coaching resources, extending benefits to a broader range of employees beyond just management. Personalized feedback. AI can provide tailored coaching interventions based on individual needs and preferences, enhancing the effectiveness of coaching. And data-driven insights. AI's analytical capabilities offer valuable insights into employee sentiment and engagement, addressing concerns about the opaqueness of human coaching. Challenges and ethical considerations. So, despite the promising potential of AI coaching, the article also addresses significant challenges, concerns, biases, and things like that. So the potential for AI to perpetuate cultural, racial, or gender biases is a critical issue that must be addressed through careful algorithm design and transparency in data sources. And additionally, the ethical implications of data privacy in coaching conversations necessitate robust security measures to protect sensitive information. And the article also argues that while human coaches may have inherent biases that are difficult to detect, AI biases can be identified and corrected more easily. So this presents an opportunity for organizations to leverage AI in a way that promotes fairness and equity in coaching practices. And so addressing AI biases. So there's 4 different key components into addressing AI biases. So one is identification. You must recognize potential biases in AI algorithms and training data. Step 2 is analysis. Conduct thorough assessments of AI outputs for fairness and equity. 3 is correction. Implement measures to mitigate identified biases in AI coaching systems. And 4, continuous monitoring. Regularly review and update AI systems to ensure ongoing fairness and effectiveness. So I guess the AI bias can be taken as a weakness and also a strength. The weakness is obviously that it can very well be presented. But the strength is that we have the resources to be able to find these biases and fix them, and to implement measures that make sure that this isn't present in future coaching practices when using AI. So now in the role of human coaches. So obviously AI cannot fully replicate humans. Even with all of the skills in the world, again, it cannot be fully replicated. So what you could do is have a complementary partnership with human coaches and AI coaching. So human coaches should embrace AI as a tool to enhance their effectiveness rather than just viewing it as a threat. Skill enhancement as well. So integrating AI insights allows human coaches to improve their skills and adapt to new coaching paradigms. and also emotional intelligence. Like I said before, human coaches provide crucial emotional support and nuanced understanding that AI cannot fully replicate. So as for future directions in AI coaching, the article concludes with a call to action for stakeholders in the coaching industry to embrace AI and experiment with its applications. So as research in AI coaching continues to evolve, there's a pressing need for the development of standards and guidelines to ensure responsible and ethical use of AI in coaching practices. The future of AI coaching is characterized by the potential for large-scale, cost-effective, and ambiguous coaching support that can redefine people development and enhance organizational performance. And this is obviously very, very important. So again, some basic steps here. Start with experimentation, embrace and test various AI applications in coaching. Do some research, conduct studies on AI coaching efficacy and impact, and develop some standards, create guidelines for responsible AI use in coaching, and then integrate it into your own practices. Seamlessly blend AI and human coaching. And so some potential impacts on organizations. One that was mentioned before is 24/7 coaching accessibility. So AI coaching would provide around the clock access and for these coaching resources for all employees. And again, 100% employee coverage. With AI coaching, it would be able to give this resource to many, many more people. And also a performance boost. Significant improvements in individual and organizational performance can come when integrating AI coaching. So moving on to the conclusion, the future of AI coaching. So AI coaching presents a transformative opportunity for organizations to redefine people development and enhance performance. While challenges do exist, the potential for large-scale, cost-effective, and ambiguous coaching support is immense. As the field evolves, a collaborative approach that combines AI capabilities with human expertise will be crucial for maximizing the benefit of this innovative technology in organizational coaching. And I'm also going to share the article itself and also the written literature review that I did on this article. So you guys can go and read the article yourself and see it that way as well. And that concludes my presentation.
Excellent. Love it.
Please stop sharing here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Evelyn. That was so fascinating. It's unbelievable the way AI has taken over everything, really. And I especially like the slide on the challenges and ethical considerations that you had. So moving right along, our next presenter is Mr. Andy Jimenez, and his topic is is distance running, coaching, and AI coaching. And now let me just tell you a little bit about Andy. He is the founder and CEO of RunFit, a company that's focused on helping women achieve their health and fitness goals through running. And running has been a part of Andy's life for as long as he can remember. He's competed in everything from 5Ks to marathons, and Andy is a certified running coach with the RRCA, the Road Runners Club of America. He's also a certified stretch and flexibility coach with NACM, the National Academy of Sports Medicine. And Andy's coaching philosophy is centered around personalized training plans that are tailored to each individual's unique needs and abilities. And he takes time to get to know his clients and to understand what they want to achieve. And then he creates a plan that will challenge them while also being realistic and achievable. In addition to coaching, Andy loves to share his knowledge and expertise with others. He regularly posts video blogs on YouTube on topics that are related to running. and he's always happy to answer questions and offer advice to anyone who's interested in improving their health and fitness through running. Please welcome Mr. Andy Jimenez.
Right. Thank you for
Uh-oh. It's cutting out.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Clear? Okay. Thank you so much. Let me see who has the power to give me so I can share the screen.
Rosa. Let's take it away from Rosa now. So let's give it to
No,
Andy.
all participants have the command to do it. That's the way it is. All participants. So you can do it because Evelyn was able to do it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Andy can do it.
Should be at the bottom that says share with the green box.
Mm-hmm. I'm having some difficulties here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Can you guys see the screen?
No, sir.
Can you guys see the screen?
No.
Yeah, I don't.
Can't who has the we have all these slides. Can someone do it for him and then you command this person? Evelyn, can you do it?
I can try. Just give me 1 second.
Okay. So you continue trying, Andy. If you cannot try, you go share. You go to share. You go to share screen, isn't it? And then screen, and it most likely. Wait. Who's that one? Who's doing that?
That's
Is-
me. That's me. Can you guys see it?
Okay, yeah. Andy, is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just say, change as I speak.
Sure.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys.
No problem.
Thank you so much again for that introduction. And it's an honor to be here with such talented and dedicated group of professionals. Each of you plays a significant role in helping others achieve their goals, overcome challenges, and thrive. And in many ways, the work you do is a reflection of how interconnected our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being truly is. Today, what I want to do is explore a concept that bridges these areas of health, viewing our bodies as temples. Whether or not we share the same faith perspective, the idea that our bodies are vessels for the purpose and potential is universal. When we treat our bodies with care and respect, it not only enhances our lives and relationships, even to service to others. We'll look at how prioritizing our physical well-being can be a form of intentional living, whether you see it as an act of worship, stewardship, or simply as a way to honor the gift of life. Let's dive into the principles and practices that can inspire all of us to align our health and our wellness with the deeper purpose we serve in our work and daily lives. You can, let me see, you can start with the next slide. I would like to start by posing a question to you. We can honor God with our spirit, but are we dishonoring him with how we treat our bodies? We can keep ourselves busy by going to church, reading our Bibles, praying, meditating, working, and doing all the things that we're supposed to do as people who believe in God, but we have lost focus on the physical health of our bodies, which the Bible says is the temple of the Holy Spirit. In 1 Corinthians 6:19-20, it says, do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who's in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You are bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your body. Next slide. Now, millions of people, Christians included, lives are cut short every single year globally from preventable diseases like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, and obesity. You may already know someone at risk, or worse, someone who has already suffered the consequences. Next slide. Why? Because many Christians see the body as temporary and therefore less important than the spirit. As a result, they often neglect their physical health. Here are some alarming statistics. Next slide. Approximately 40% of adults who regularly attend church in the US are classified as obese, a higher percentage than the national average of 30% of people who don't go to church. A Lifeway research survey found congregations where almost half of the adults, 45%, are either pre-diabetic or have type 2 diabetes, conditions largely driven by poor diet and lack of physical activity. Another study showed that 60% of churchgoers do not meet the recommended levels of physical activity, 150 minutes per week, increasing their risk of chronic diseases like hypertension and cardiovascular issues. 60% of churchgoers show higher rates of high blood pressure, which is leading to more deaths from stroke and other preventable conditions compared to people who don't go to church. Next slide. However, the scriptures teach us that our bodies are temples, and how we care for them is an act of worship. In Romans 12:1, it says, offer your bodies as living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. Next slide. Now, for 10 years, I worked in the banquet department at the beautiful Ritz-Carlton Hotel. And that's a luxury hotel with the finest chefs. And I worked in the banquet department. And if anyone who has ever worked in catering and in banquets, they know that there's always an excess amount of food left over. And so I would, they had these beautiful desserts, creme brulee, strawberry shortcakes. And what I would do is, like, after every function, I would just eat a lot of these desserts that were left over. And I did this every time I worked. And then one day, as I was driving back home, I was not feeling well. I felt dizzy. I felt really weak. My vision was blurry. I had no energy, and my heart was beating irregularly. And I said, there's something wrong. Something's happening to me. So what I did was I drove myself to the emergency room. And it was somewhat crowded. And then they went and brought me in, took some blood, took my blood pressure, and immediately they took me in to see the doctor, skipping all the people that were in the lobby. So right then and there, I knew there was something wrong. There was something wrong. And so then the doctor came in and he told me, I want you to relax, take it easy. I was like, relax, take it easy. Like, what's happening? Well, all your numbers are really bad. Your sugar is at 600. Your blood pressure is way above. Your cholesterol is high. And so what we want you to do is stay here in the hospital to bring these numbers down. And so they told me, if you want to call your wife, tell her to come in, and, you know, tell a family member to come in, but you're going to be here for a little bit. And then my wife came into the hospital. My daughters were there. And then, you know, I began to look at them, and I began to really kind of self-reflect and say to myself, you know, I'm not in the hospital because of a natural disaster or an accident. I'm in the hospital because I've put myself here. And I just kind of began to pray inside. I said, God, just help me with this. You know, I want to be here for my children. I want to be here for my family. And so I just said, God, just help me make a decision to do this. Next slide. And then, you know, that's when I knew that running, for example, was a great way to exercise for losing weight and getting into shape. But the thought of going out there to run was not exciting to me. I didn't want to do that. So I said, you know, I have to do something. So I said, okay, what can I do? I said, well, you know, I enjoy audiobooks, and I like to walk. So I made a decision. So for the next 30 days, what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to my audiobook, and I'm going to walk for 20 minutes. I'm going to walk 20 minutes going and 10 minutes going and 10 minutes coming back. And I started doing that on a consistent basis. And then the 20-minute walking turned into 30. Then I mixed in the walking with the jogging. And then the jogging turned into running. And then I ran 3 miles. And then I ran 5 miles. And then I kept on picking up the pace. And that was all in Florida. I went then to New York, and I began to run with Dr. Pina's group and Karina. And I began doing more and more miles, more and more miles. My weight dropped from 240 pounds to 200 pounds. And I normalized all of my health numbers. My blood pressure, my cholesterol, my sugar all went down. I became a certified running coach. I formed a health and wellness company with running as a foundation named RunFit. I started a ministry with my fellow brothers and sisters to do the same for their health. And this all began with a decision to make a change, to honor God with my body, and I was given a second chance. Next slide. So the question is, if you can do better, should you? If you can do better, should you? And in 3 John 1 and 2, it says, I pray that you may enjoy good health, even as your soul prospers. And this verse illustrates the balance between physical and spiritual prosperity. God wants us to prosper spiritually, but also physically. Next slide. A study from Duke University found that congregants who participate in church-sponsored health programs showed improvements in their overall well-being. Nearly 75% of these participants reported better physical health and increased energy levels, which also helped them become more active in church activities. Next slide. Not only that, once we begin to enjoy good health, we have a responsibility to teach these principles to our families. In Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 9, it says, and you shall teach these to your children. But in Hebrew, the correct reading of that verse is not you shall teach them to your children. Instead, the correct reading is this, and you shall teach them to yourself first and then to your children. So you must first build your own character and moral center so that you may be able to pass it along and share it with others. And these actions start with you. Here are some simple changes you can make. If you want to pray and meditate, you can do it. You can walk and do it at the same time. You can fast with a focus on spiritual and physical renewal. And you can create meal plans that honor the body as a temple. Next slide. Now, in the health and wellness business I started called RunFit, we believe that caring for our body is an act of worship rooted in 1 Corinthians 6:19-20, which reminds us that our bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, and through wellness, we can honor God fully. I invite you to join me on a journey toward your health and vitality, not just for yourself, but to serve others in your family, your church, and community. Let's align our physical well-being with our spiritual callings, growing stronger together in faith and fitness. I encourage you to sign up for free at my website, runfit.com, to receive free information on exercise and nutrition tips, how to set goals, how to easily create the right habits, and much more to support and to help you hit the ground running. Also, you can join me every Saturday for free at 8 a.m. at Van Cortlandt Park on 254th Street and Broadway for walks, jogs, and runs. And if as leaders in your respective fields, you would like to step up and sponsor a health program, we can create programs that can help people get lean and fit through walking, jogging, running, and strength training exercises. Let's honor God by caring for our bodies. 1 Timothy 4:8 says, for physical training is of some value, but godliness has value for all things. This verse acknowledges the value of both physical and spiritual training. Let's honor God by caring for our bodies. Thank you so much for giving me this time to speak to you today.
Excellent, excellent.
Very good, Andy.
Sorry,
Really,
you're muted.
I love that.
Thank you, Andy. Very personal, very impactful presentation. Guys, this is the end of the presentations now. We want to thank all of our presenters today that made it possible. And we'd also like to give a special thanks to the Cura 100 team and everyone that attended today. Thank you. I'm going to hand the floor over now to Dr. Pina.
All right, thank you guys. So we want to conclude our summit. Is to let you know that we have spent 3 months working on it. Rosaura, Dr. Medina, Evelyn, Cara, Luz, Elena, Dr. Purohit has been here as part of the team. We meet every day, Monday to Friday at 8 a.m. This is a very well organized. You go also to receive more than two hours and 26 minutes, probably 30 minutes of content. As soon as we finish, you're gonna receive also a summary in writing. You will send all the slides. We have 6 slides prepared. We also have all the resources, article to send to you. We've been putting this summit for a long time, and we really appreciate that you have been here today. We also are going to have our summit number 3, and it's going to be March 30th, Sunday again. Probably going to do a little bit earlier, and it's going to be on AI, mental health, the mind meta mapping approach, applications, and treatment. We have received a $250,000 pledge by Dr. Medina, that you saw right there. We're working on the corporation team, and it's $250,000 to develop the mind meta mapping of the individual blueprints of the mind. We already have the marketing team, 5 years planning. We also have some other investors that might be matching the project as soon as put together. We have a neurosurgeon from Turkey, one PhD student neurosurgeon from Mexico that is working with it. So by March, we're supposed to bring you and bring some experts to talk about AI, mental health, the mind meta mapping and approach, applications, and treatment. So we'll be very happy that you've been in our second coaching specialties and well-being, the way of happiness, meaningful florist. People that are here, we support them, we love them. Dr. Reich is an expert. We're happy that she was been here. Andy is a surprise because he put together a wonderful coaching business and with passions. Ramon Blandini is an expert, he's a friend from all the time. Rosa is developing as a coach herself. And I also wanted to present the standing presentations of Evelyn, who's growing with us like a Benjamin of the group. Of course, Rosaura and expertise and lovely everybody who participated today, and Purohit and Jesse that's being there. We're very thank you for being there with Cura 100 Global. We are now have a non-for-profit institution in Europe, the Academia Europea of Metapoetry. We also have a non-for-profit in Dominican Republic. We have a program in New York City and Las Vegas and Brooklyn, and we want to count with your support. And thank you for being here today. I will receive a lot, and of course, we have an applications that will design who of these 9 presentations is gonna go viral. So we will send each one to you as soon as it's end and recorded. We have a great application, applications that I put it right there, and then it will go. You know what is better, what has the highest virality, and that would be something amazing. And I will send to you everybody. So it's 2:29 now. I want to thank you for being tonight, and thank you. And I hope to see some of you. Bye bye.